Welcome to your deep dive. Today we're going to be cracking open the power of the subconscious mind.
Oh, this is a good one.
This book claims to hold practical techniques and formulas for tapping into, this hidden power within us all.
That's the ticket.
Pretty exciting, right?
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is the way it just dives right into the nuts and bolts. It's offering a roadmap to this potential that I think most of us don't even realize we have.
Okay, so let's unpack that core idea here.
Okay.
Um, the book talks about these two spheres of activity within our minds.
Okay.
The conscious or objective mind and the subconscious, also called the subjective mind.
Right. It's like a ship, you see.
Okay.
The conscious mind is the captain making decisions and charting the course.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that subconscious mind is the crew down in the engine room faithfully carrying out those orders.
Okay, I get the analogy, but
Yeah.
doesn't that seem a bit risky?
Uh-huh.
What if the captain gives faulty orders?
Right.
Is the crew just going to blindly steer the ship into disaster?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The book argues that the subconscious mind, it doesn't question or reason the way the conscious mind does.
Okay.
It accepts whatever the conscious mind believes as true.
So our subconscious mind is just blindly following orders.
In a sense, yes.
Doesn't that make it incredibly important to choose our thoughts and beliefs carefully?
Exactly. The book really emphasizes the power of positive thinking.
Okay.
It even tells the story about Caruso, the famous opera singer.
Uh-huh.
He overcame crippling stage fright by speaking directly to his subconscious mind,
Oh, wow.
commanding it to step aside and let his talent shine through.
So instead of letting fear run the show, he consciously reprogrammed his subconscious
Yes.
to believe in his ability to perform.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, did the book explain why that worked?
That's a great question.
Was it the wording he used, the repetition, his emotional state?
It suggests that the subconscious mind is most receptive when the objective senses are subdued.
Okay.
It's as if the captain has left the bridge, allowing the crew to receive new instructions more readily.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The book also mentions some pretty amazing abilities that the subconscious mind possesses.
Yes.
Things like clairvoyance and even thought reading.
Right.
To be honest, that kind of stuff makes me a little skeptical.
I understand your skepticism.
Yeah.
While the book doesn't go into great detail about these abilities,
Yeah.
it does suggest that the subconscious mind operates on a much deeper level than our conscious awareness.
Okay.
It's possible that it picks up on these subtle signals we're not consciously aware of.
Okay, let's shift gears to a concept. The book dives deeply into the power of suggestion.
Ah, yes.
So,
It's a powerful idea suggesting that simply introducing an idea into someone's mind can have a real impact on their life.
okay.
The book distinguishes between autosuggestion or self-suggestion
Okay.
and heterosuggestion, which is suggestion from others.
So if I keep telling myself I'm going to nail that big presentation,
Yeah.
that's autosuggestion.
Yeah.
But if my coworkers keep telling me I'm going to bomb, that's heterosuggestion.
Precisely. The book gives this example.
Okay.
Imagine someone repeatedly suggesting seasickness to a timid passenger on a ship.
Oh, gosh.
If that passenger is already anxious, their subconscious mind might accept the suggestion and they actually become seasick.
Ugh, that's awful. But I can see how it might happen.
Yeah.
I remember the book also mentioned a sailor who is completely immune to the same suggestion.
Yes. The sailor was confident and had no fear of seasickness,
Right.
so the suggestion had no effect.
So is this what people mean when they talk about self-fulfilling prophecies?
That's one way to look at it.
You believe it, therefore it happens?
And the book uses autosuggestion to describe how these self-fulfilling prophecies can actually help us overcome fears and negative conditions.
Okay, I'm thinking about that example from the book about the young singer who overcame her stage fright.
Yes.
Was that the one where she used positive self-talk to reprogram her subconscious?
That's the one. She replaced her fear of failure with affirmations of confidence and success, and she ended up acing her audition.
Okay, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
It sounds like autosuggestion can be a powerful tool for positive change.
Yeah.
But what about the flip side? Can suggestion also have negative consequences?
Unfortunately, yes. The book cautions that negative suggestions, especially those absorbed during childhood, can create harmful patterns that impact our lives for years to come.
That's a bit unsettling. It makes you think about all the messages we're exposed to, both consciously and subconsciously.
Right.
What if those messages are negative or limiting?
It's definitely something to consider, but the book also offers hope, arguing that we can counteract those negative suggestions with constructive autosuggestion.
Okay.
It even shares this rather dramatic anecdote about a man who died at the exact time a fortune teller predicted.
Wait, you're telling me he died because of a suggestion.
It does raise some questions about the power of belief and how the subconscious mind interprets it. The book suggests that the man's fear of the prediction, his absolute belief in the outcome, turned it into a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Wow. That's both fascinating and a little terrifying.
Yeah.
I can see why the book emphasizes the importance of guarding our minds against negative suggestions.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a crucial point. While our subconscious mind can be influenced by fear and negativity,
Right.
it's also the source of our aspirations, our ideals, even our altruistic urges.
So are you saying we all have this wellspring of positive potential within us? It's not all doom and gloom?
Exactly. The book argues that our subconscious mind is what drives us to create, to achieve, to contribute to something greater than ourselves.
That's a more hopeful way to look at it.
Yes.
So how do we tap into that potential? How do we harness the power of the subconscious mind for good?
Well, the book offers a variety of techniques and examples. One that stands out is the story of a 19th century doctor in India
Okay.
who used suggestion to prevent infection in his patients long before modern medicine understood the role of bacteria.
Hold on. Are you saying he simply willed his patients to stay healthy?
It all comes back to belief.
Okay.
He instilled a powerful suggestion of health and immunity in his patients' subconscious minds, and their bodies responded accordingly.
So it's not just positive thinking. It's about really believing it.
The book seems to suggest that that's a key ingredient.
Okay.
It shares another example of a woman who found her ideal partner through prayer and affirmation.
Okay.
The key, it argues, is that she wasn't just wishing for it. She truly believed she deserved it and that it was possible.
So if we can learn to harness this power, we can actually shape our reality.
It certainly is.
That's a pretty big claim.
It is a big claim, and the book provides specific techniques for doing just that. For example, it tells the story of a Protestant minister who healed himself from lung cancer by using affirmations. He even shares the exact words he used.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. But what about achieving more tangible things like financial success?
Right.
Can our subconscious mind help us with that too?
Absolutely. The book even talks about something called the placebo effect.
Okay.
There's this fascinating story about a man who was healed simply by touching a ring
Oh, wow.
he believed had healing powers.
Wait, so his belief alone healed him?
That's the amazing part it was.
Okay.
It highlights how our subconscious mind doesn't necessarily distinguish between what we perceive to be true and what's objectively real.
Okay.
It responds to the dominant belief, whatever that may be.
So you're saying if enough people believe in something strongly enough, it can actually manifest in reality.
The book explores that concept.
That's mind-blowing.
It even delves into the phenomenon of healing at shrines and other places where people gather with intense faith and belief. And it goes even further, suggesting that even symptoms of diseases can be induced through hypnotic suggestion.
Okay, now that's getting a little creepy. Are you saying someone could suggest I have a headache and I'd actually start feeling one?
Well, while the book doesn't explicitly make that claim,
Okay.
it does emphasize the potential influence of suggestion, both positive and negative. This underscores the importance of guarding our minds against harmful suggestions and consciously choosing positive life-affirming beliefs instead.
I'm starting to see how this all ties together. Our thoughts and beliefs really do have a powerful impact on our reality.
The book certainly makes that case. It even introduces a technique called the mental movie method
Right.
for manifesting desires, where you visualize your desired outcome as vividly as possible.
So like picturing yourself winning the lottery.
Well, the book provides more practical examples like visualizing the sale of a property or the successful resolution of a lawsuit, and it emphasizes the importance of aligning your emotions with that visualization. It's not just about seeing it, it's about feeling it as if it's already happened.
So it's not enough to just think it. You have to feel it too.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah.
The book gives this great example of a man they call Mr. Broke, who used affirmations of gratitude for his wealth to overcome financial hardship.
So he basically thanked his way to riches.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel like our subconscious mind is this powerful engine, and our thoughts and beliefs are the steering wheel.
That's a great analogy, but it's crucial to remember that this engine can work for both good and bad ideas.
Right.
The book drives home the point that if we focus on lack and limitation, that's what we'll attract.
Right.
But if we cultivate an abundance mindset, our subconscious will find ways to make that happen.
Okay. I see what you mean. We need to be mindful of what we're feeding our subconscious minds. This all makes sense. But what about the idea of the subconscious mind working for the common good?
Okay.
I'm a little confused about how that fits in with all the negativity and suffering we see in the world.
That's a deep question and one that the book tackles head on.
Yeah.
It argues that while the subconscious mind itself is inherently good
Okay.
and strives for harmony,
Uh-huh.
it's our conscious choices, our thoughts and beliefs that can lead to negativity and suffering.
So we're kind of misusing the power of our subconscious minds.
That's one way to think about it. The book suggests that when we dwell on negative thoughts, we're giving our subconscious minds the wrong instructions.
And those faulty instructions manifest as negative experiences in our lives.
It's a bit like planting poison ivy in our mental gardens and then wondering why we're covered in rashes.
Ouch, that's a vivid image. But seriously, if our subconscious mind is always working,
Yes.
even when we're asleep,
Right.
what's happening during those hours?
That's where dreams come in.
Okay.
The book dedicates a significant portion to the importance of dreams, arguing that they're not just random nonsense, but valuable messages from our subconscious.
Hold on, are you saying dreams actually mean something?
The book certainly makes that case.
That they can offer solutions to problems or even reveal future events?
It shares some pretty compelling stories,
Okay.
like the writer who avoided disaster by heeding a warning about the attack on Pearl Harbor he received in a dream.
He dreamt about Pearl Harbor before it happened.
Yes. Quite remarkable.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more about these dream revelations.
There's the engineer who won $15,000 for designing a switch based on a solution that came to him in a dream, and a professor who deciphered ancient Babylonian inscriptions based on a dream he had.
Wow, those are incredible stories.
Yeah.
The book also mentions Robert Louis Stevenson, the famous author of Treasure Island, right?
Right. Stevenson actually made a habit of instructing his subconscious mind to come up with story ideas while he slept.
Wow.
And it worked. Many of his most famous works were born from his dreams.
So he basically outsourced his creative process to his subconscious mind.
I love it.
This is all starting to feel a little mystical.
It is fascinating stuff.
Yeah, but I'm curious to learn more.
The book suggests that we all can benefit from tapping into the wisdom and creativity of our subconscious minds, especially during sleep.
Okay, this is all mind-blowing. We've covered so much from the basics of the conscious and subconscious mind to the power of suggestion and the significance of dreams.
We have.
But there's one more area I want to explore: relationships.
Okay.
Does the book address how the subconscious mind plays a role in our love lives?
It absolutely does, and this is where it gets really personal.
Okay.
The book argues that we can attract our ideal partner by impressing the subconscious mind with the desired qualities. It even provides specific affirmations for attracting the perfect husband or wife.
Hold on, love spells. Are we talking about witchcraft here?
Not quite. It's more about understanding how our subconscious beliefs and expectations shape our relationships.
Oh, okay.
Remember how the subconscious mind accepts whatever the conscious mind believes?
Yeah.
Well, the book suggests that this applies to our beliefs about love and partnership as well.
Okay, so if we're carrying around negative beliefs about relationships, those beliefs might manifest in our love lives.
That's the idea. The book gives an example of a woman who kept attracting submissive partners.
Okay.
She eventually realized that she was subconsciously seeking out partners who would fit into her own dominant personality patterns.
So she was unknowingly perpetuating a cycle based on her own subconscious beliefs.
Exactly, and that's why self-awareness is crucial. The book emphasizes the importance of examining our subconscious beliefs about love and partnership
Right.
before we can attract the right person or create a harmonious relationship.
That makes a lot of sense, but what if you've already found a partner,
Okay.
but things aren't going so well? Did the book help with that too?
It does offer some guidance for navigating challenges in marriage. It suggests seeking expert advice if needed,
Good.
practicing forgiveness, and importantly, avoiding attempts to change one's partner.
So it's more about focusing on what we can control our own thoughts and behaviors.
Exactly. The book stresses the importance of prayer and aligning your subconscious beliefs with the desire for a loving, harmonious relationship. It's about working on yourself, both individually and as a couple, to create that shared reality.
Okay, this is all fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how understanding the power of the subconscious mind can have a profound impact on all areas of our lives. But we've covered so much already. Maybe we should take a break here and come back to explore some of these ideas in more depth.
That sounds like a great plan. There's so much more to unpack, and I think you'll find the next part of our journey even more insightful.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the power of the subconscious mind. We've already uncovered some pretty amazing insights about how our subconscious mind works and the potential it holds.
It's fascinating stuff, isn't it?
It is.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Exactly. Before the break, we were talking about how the subconscious mind can impact our relationships.
Right.
But this book goes even further,
Yeah.
suggesting we can use it to achieve success in all areas of life.
That's right. And the book emphasizes that this power isn't some mystical secret. It's available to everyone.
Okay.
It's about understanding how the subconscious mind operates and learning to work with it effectively.
So it's like learning a new language.
That's a great analogy.
Once you understand the rules, you can communicate more effectively.
Yeah. It's about learning to communicate with your subconscious mind, to send it clear messages that align with your desires. And the book provides specific techniques for doing just that.
Speaking of techniques, this book seems to offer a roadmap for everything from improving our health to finding love to attracting financial abundance. Is there anything the subconscious mind can't help us with?
Well, it's important to remember that the subconscious mind isn't a magic genie that grants wishes.
Right.
It's more like a powerful engine that needs the right fuel and direction to perform optimally.
Okay, so it's not about wishing and hoping. It's about taking action and aligning our thoughts and beliefs with our desires.
That's right.
This reminds me of something we talked about earlier, the power of belief.
Yes.
The book really seems to emphasize that point, doesn't it?
It does, and for good reason. Our beliefs shape our reality.
Okay.
They act as filters influencing how we perceive the world and what we experience.
So if we want to attract more abundance into our lives, we need to start by believing that abundance is possible for us.
Exactly, and it's not just about thinking abundant thoughts, it's about feeling them.
Okay.
The subconscious mind responds to emotions, so we need to create a feeling of abundance within ourselves before we can expect it to manifest in our outer world.
That makes sense. It's like we need to convince our subconscious mind that abundance is our natural state of being. But let's say I'm facing a specific challenge, like a creative block or a difficult decision.
Uh-huh.
Can the book help with those kinds of situations?
It absolutely can. The book suggests a technique called subjective reasoning for overcoming these obstacles.
Subjective reasoning. That sounds intriguing. What does it involve?
It's about presenting your problem to your subconscious mind
Okay.
clearly and concisely, then trusting that it will find the solution.
So it's like giving your subconscious mind an assignment and then letting it work its magic.
Exactly. And the book suggests that the best time to do this is right before sleep.
Why before sleep? Does that have something to do with the subconscious mind being more receptive when we're drifting off?
That's the idea. The conscious mind is less active during sleep, allowing the subconscious mind to take over and work on the problem unhindered.
So it's like planting a seed in the fertile ground of our subconscious mind before we go to sleep.
That's a beautiful analogy. And just as a seed needs time to germinate and grow, so too does the solution to our problem. We need to be patient and trust the process.
This reminds me of something else we talked about earlier, the significance of dreams. Is it possible that the solution might come to us in a dream?
It's certainly possible. The book highlights how the subconscious mind can communicate with us through dreams, often providing insights and guidance that we wouldn't have access to in our waking state.
So we shouldn't dismiss our dreams as just random nonsense.
Yeah.
They might actually hold valuable clues and solutions. This is all starting to feel a bit mystical. But is there a scientific basis for any of this?
You know what's fascinating is that modern neuroscience is starting to catch up with what ancient wisdom traditions have known for centuries, that the mind has an incredible power to influence the body and shape our reality.
So it's not just woo-woo spirituality, there's actual science behind this.
Absolutely. Studies are showing that practices like meditation visualization and positive affirmations can literally change the structure and function of the brain.
That's amazing. So we're not just talking about positive thinking, we're talking about actual physical changes happening in the brain.
Exactly. And those changes can have a ripple effect on our health, our relationships, our career, all areas of our lives.
Okay, let's say I want to achieve a specific goal, whether it's running a marathon, starting my own business, or finding my soulmate. What's the first step? How do I begin working with my subconscious mind to make that goal a reality?
The book emphasizes the importance of creating a clear mental picture of your desired outcome.
Okay.
It's not enough to have a vague wish or a half-hearted intention. You need to be crystal clear about what you want.
So no more, I kind of want to lose a few pounds, or it'd be nice to get a promotion. We need to be laser focused on the specific outcome we desire.
Exactly. The more specific and detailed your mental picture, the more effectively your subconscious mind can work on bringing it into reality.
Okay, I've set a clear goal, and I'm diligently working on impressing it upon my subconscious mind. How will I know if it's working? Will there be any signs?
The book suggests that you'll start to notice synchronicities and opportunities appearing in your life that seem to align with your goal.
Okay.
These synchronicities might feel like coincidences, but the book argues that there are actually signs from the universe that you're on the right track.
Like, what? Give me an example.
Well, let's say your goal is to write a book. You might suddenly come across an article about a writer's retreat,
Okay.
or you might meet someone at a party who has connections in the publishing industry. These synchronicities might feel like chance encounters, but the book suggests that they are actually orchestrations of the universe guiding you towards your goal.
So it's like the universe is conspiring to help us achieve our dreams. I love that idea.
The book certainly seems to suggest that's the case. It argues that when we align our conscious and subconscious minds with a specific goal, we open ourselves up to receiving guidance and support from the universe itself.
That's incredibly inspiring. But what about those times when we encounter obstacles along the way?
Yeah.
How do we deal with setbacks and challenges? Do we just give up and assume our subconscious mind isn't working?
The book emphasizes the importance of persistence and faith. It reminds us that the subconscious mind is always working on our behalf, even when we can't see the results.
So we shouldn't throw in the towel at the first sign of difficulty. We need to trust the process and keep moving forward.
Exactly. The book encourages us to view challenges as opportunities for growth and to trust that the universe is always supporting us, even when it feels like we're facing setbacks.
This all makes so much sense, but there's one thing I'm still a little confused about. We talked about the subconscious mind working for the common good, but what about all the negativity and suffering we see in the world? How does that fit in?
That's a great question, and it's one that the book addresses directly. It argues that while the subconscious mind itself is inherently good and seeks harmony, it's our own conscious thoughts and beliefs that can create negativity and suffering.
So we're essentially misusing the power of our subconscious minds.
That's one way to think about it. The book suggests that when we dwell on negative thoughts and beliefs, we're giving our subconscious minds the wrong instructions.
And those negative instructions can manifest as negative experiences in our lives and in the world around us.
Exactly. It's like planting poison ivy seeds in our mental gardens and then wondering why we're covered in rashes.
Okay, that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from those negative patterns? How do we reprogram our subconscious minds to create more positive experiences?
The book offers a powerful technique called forgiveness.
Forgiveness. How does that relate to the subconscious mind?
The book argues that holding on to anger, resentment, and bitterness is like carrying a heavy weight around with us. It clutters up our mental and emotional space and prevents the free flow of positive energy.
So forgiveness is about letting go of that weight. It's about releasing the negative emotions that are holding us back and creating space for love, peace, and joy to flow into our lives.
Exactly. And remember, the subconscious mind responds to emotions. When we cultivate feelings of forgiveness, we're sending a powerful message to our subconscious minds that we're ready to let go of the past and move forward.
That makes sense. But what about justice? Don't some people deserve to be held accountable for their actions?
The book makes it clear that forgiveness is not about condoning or excusing hurtful behavior. It's about freeing ourselves from the negative energy that's keeping us trapped in the past. It's about recognizing that holding on to anger and resentment is only hurting ourselves in the long run.
Okay, so it's about taking back our power and choosing to focus on our own healing and well-being.
Precisely, forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not to the person who has hurt you.
I'm starting to see how forgiveness plays a crucial role in reprogramming the subconscious mind. But how do we actually do it? How do we forgive someone who has hurt us deeply? It's easy to say, I forgive you, but how do we truly let go of the pain and resentment?
The book offers a powerful visualization technique. It suggests finding a quiet space where you won't be disturbed, closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths to relax. Then imagine the person you want to forgive standing in front of you.
Okay, that sounds a bit intense. What if I don't feel ready to face them even in my imagination?
It's important to honor your own pace and comfort level if it feels too intense. You can start by simply visualizing the person from a distance. The key is to approach this practice with compassion and a willingness to release the negative emotions that are holding you captive.
Okay, I'm willing to try. So I visualize the person either up close or from a distance, and then what?
As you visualize them, imagine yourself sending them love, compassion, and understanding.
Wait a minute. Send love to someone who has hurt me. That seems counterintuitive.
I know it might feel strange at first, but remember, forgiveness is not about condoning their actions. It's about freeing yourself from the negative emotions that are keeping you stuck. It's about choosing to release the pain and resentment that are poisoning your own heart.
Okay, I'm starting to see the logic in that. So I visualize the person and send them love. What happens next?
As you continue to send them love, imagine them being enveloped in a warm golden light. This light represents healing and forgiveness. As the light surrounds them, notice how you feel. You might feel a sense of release, a lightness, or even a feeling of warmth in your heart.
So it's not just about thinking forgiving thoughts. It's about creating a feeling of forgiveness within myself.
Exactly. Remember, the subconscious mind responds to emotions when we cultivate feelings of forgiveness. We're sending a powerful message to our subconscious minds that we're ready to let go of the past and move forward.
This makes a lot of sense. But what if I don't feel any forgiveness? What if I'm still angry and hurt?
That's okay. Forgiveness is a process, not a destination. Don't force it. Just continue to practice the visualization technique and trust that the feelings of forgiveness will come in time. Be patient with yourself and with the process.
So it's like we're retraining our minds to respond differently to the situation.
That's a great way to put it. We're essentially rewiring our neural pathways to create new patterns of thought and feeling.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try this visualization technique, but what about forgiving myself sometimes? That feels even harder than forgiving someone else. I've done things that I regret, and it's hard to let go of the guilt and shame.
You know, that's something the book addresses as well. It argues that self-forgiveness is just as crucial as forgiving others.
Why is that?
Because holding on to guilt, shame, and self-blame is just as detrimental to our well-being as holding on to anger and resentment towards others. It creates a negative feedback loop in our subconscious minds that can manifest as low self-esteem, self-sabotage, and even physical illness.
So self-forgiveness is about breaking free from that negative feedback loop. It's about acknowledging our mistakes, learning from them, and then releasing the guilt and shame that are holding us back.
Exactly. Self-forgiveness is an act of self-compassion. It's about recognizing that we are all human, that we all make mistakes, and that we are all worthy of love and forgiveness.
That's a beautiful sentiment, but how do we actually forgive ourselves? It feels like I've been carrying around some of these burdens for years.
The book suggests a powerful technique called affirmative prayer.
Affirmative prayer, what does that mean?
It's about consciously choosing to focus on positive life-affirming statements rather than dwelling on past mistakes.
So instead of beating myself up with thoughts like, I'm so stupid for doing that, I might say something like, I'm learning and growing from this experience, or I'm worthy of forgiveness.
Exactly. It's about shifting our internal dialogue from self-criticism to self-compassion.
Okay, I can see how that would be helpful. But it's not just about positive thinking, right? There's more to affirmative prayer than just repeating positive phrases.
You're right. The book emphasizes the importance of feeling the truth of the affirmations we're speaking.
So it's not just about saying the words, it's about believing them.
Exactly. It's about creating a feeling of truth within ourselves,
Why?
a resonance with the positive qualities we're affirming.
Okay, this is all starting to click, but what if I don't believe the affirmations? What if I feel like I'm lying to myself?
That's a common experience. The book acknowledges that it takes time and practice to shift our deeply ingrained beliefs.
Right.
Our minds are like gardens. We've been planting weeds of negativity and self-doubt for years, and it takes time to cultivate a new landscape of positive and life-affirming beliefs.
So it's about being patient and persistent. We need to keep weeding out the negative thoughts and planting seeds of positivity until those new beliefs begin to take root.
That's a great way to think about it. And remember, every time we choose a positive thought over a negative one, we're strengthening the neural pathways in our brains that support those positive beliefs.
Yeah.
It's like exercising a muscle. The more we practice, the stronger it gets.
This is such valuable information. I'm already starting to see how I can apply these techniques to my own life. But there's one area we haven't touched on yet, aging. Does the book address that at all? I have to bet I have a lot of fears about getting older.
It does, and you might be surprised to hear that it offers a refreshing perspective. The book argues that aging is not something to be feared, but rather a natural and beautiful process of growth and wisdom.
That's a nice thought. But what about all the negative stereotypes about aging? Wrinkles, declining health, becoming irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay positive when we're bombarded with messages that tell us aging is something to be dreaded.
I hear you. Those messages are everywhere, aren't they? But the book suggests that these stereotypes are largely a product of our cultural conditioning, not biological reality.
So it's a mindset issue.
Exactly. The book argues that our beliefs about aging have a powerful impact on how we actually experience the aging process if we believe that aging is a time of decline and decay. That's what we're likely to experience. But if we choose to believe that aging is a time of continued growth, learning, and contribution, then we open ourselves up to a much more positive and fulfilling experience.
So instead of focusing on what we're losing as we age, we can focus on what we're gaining. That's a powerful shift in perspective.
It is. The book highlights examples of individuals who have lived long, fulfilling lives, contributing to society well into their later years. Their stories demonstrate that chronological age is less important than our mental and emotional state.
So if we maintain a positive attitude, stay active and engaged, continue to learn and grow, we can defy those negative stereotypes about aging.
The book certainly suggests that's possible. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining a youthful spirit and embracing the wisdom and experience that come with age. It's about recognizing that aging is not a decline, but a transformation. It's a journey of growth and expansion.
Okay, I'm starting to feel more optimistic about getting older, but what about those physical changes that inevitably come with age? The wrinkles, the gray hair, the declining energy. It's hard to ignore those realities even if we're cultivating a positive mindset.
The book acknowledges those changes, but it reframes them as part of the natural cycle of life. It reminds us that our bodies are constantly changing and adapting, and that aging is simply another stage in that ongoing process.
So instead of fighting against the aging process, we can learn to accept and even appreciate it.
Exactly. The book suggests that when we resist aging, we create unnecessary stress and tension that can actually accelerate the aging process. But when we embrace aging with grace and acceptance, we can tap into a wellspring of wisdom and inner peace that only deepens with time.
I love that perspective. It's like making peace with the river instead of trying to swim upstream against the current.
That's a great analogy. It's about surrendering to the natural flow of life and trusting that the journey is unfolding exactly as it should.
Okay, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
But what about those fears that often accompany aging fears of decline, illness, loneliness?
Yeah.
How do we deal with those anxieties?
The book acknowledges those fears, but argues that they are often rooted in our negative beliefs about aging. Remember, our beliefs shape our reality. If we believe that aging is a scary and lonely experience, we're more likely to attract those experiences into our lives. But if we choose to believe that aging can be a time of joy, connection, and fulfillment, then we open ourselves up to those possibilities.
So we need to reprogram our minds with more positive and life-affirming beliefs about aging.
Exactly. And the book offers a powerful technique called autosuggestion for doing just that.
Autosuggestion, that sounds familiar. We talked about it earlier in the context of overcoming fear and negative self-talk. Is this the same technique?
It is. It's the same principle, but applied to our beliefs about aging.
So if we repeatedly tell ourselves that aging is a time of growth, wisdom, and fulfillment, our subconscious minds will eventually start to believe it.
That's the idea. The book emphasizes the importance of repetition and consistency when it comes to autosuggestion. It's like creating a new groove in our mental record. The more we play it, the deeper the groove becomes.
And the more deeply ingrained the positive belief becomes, the more likely it is to manifest in our reality.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. I'm definitely going to start practicing autosuggestion, but what about those times when I feel my age? You know, my body aches and my energy is low.
The book acknowledges that it's natural to have moments of doubt. We're all human, and it's impossible to be positive 100% of the time.
So it's okay to not feel positive all the time. What do we do when those negative thoughts creep in? Do we just try to ignore them?
The book suggests that we acknowledge the negative thoughts without judgment, then gently redirect our focus back to the positive affirmations we're working with.
So it's about being kind to ourselves and not beating ourselves up for having negative thoughts.
Exactly. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect, but to be persistent in our efforts to cultivate a positive and life-affirming mindset. It's like training a puppy. You wouldn't punish the puppy for having accidents. You gently guide it back to the right path.
Okay, I like that analogy, but what about those external factors that contribute to aging? You know, pollution, stress, unhealthy lifestyle choices. Can we really control how we age when there's so many external factors at play?
The book acknowledges that external factors do play a role in the aging process, while mindset is a crucial factor. The book also emphasizes the importance of taking care of our physical health.
So it's not all about mindset. Our actions matter too.
Absolutely. The book suggests that making healthy lifestyle choices, such as eating nutritious foods, getting regular exercise, and managing stress, can help us age gracefully. It's about taking a holistic approach to aging, nurturing our minds and bodies.
This is all starting to come together. It's about recognizing that we have more agency than we often realize. We're not just passive victims of time. We can actively participate in shaping our aging experience. But there's one last thing I'm curious about. The book mentions that we can actually reprogram our subconscious minds to feel younger. Is that even possible? Can we trick our minds into believing we're younger than our chronological age?
You know, that's one of the most intriguing claims the book makes. It suggests that our perception of age is largely subjective.
So if we feel young, we are young.
That's the idea. The book argues that our subconscious minds don't necessarily distinguish between our chronological age and our perceived age.
So if we can convince our subconscious minds that we're younger than our chronological age, we might actually experience the benefits of that younger age.
That's the fascinating possibility the book puts forward. It suggests that by focusing on thoughts and feelings of youthfulness, vitality, and energy, we can actually reprogram our subconscious minds to experience a more youthful reality.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing. But how do we actually do it? How do we convince our subconscious minds that we're younger than we actually are? It sounds a bit like trying to fool ourselves.
The book suggests a combination of techniques, including visualization affirmations and engaging in activities that evoke feelings of youthfulness and joy.
So it's about creating a multi-sensory experience of youthfulness, not just thinking it, but feeling it, seeing it, experiencing it with all of our senses.
Exactly. The book emphasizes the importance of engaging all of our senses, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell in the reprogramming process.
Okay, so what would that look like in practice? Give me an example.
Well, imagine yourself back in a time when you felt youthful and carefree. Visualize yourself in that setting, engaging in activities that brought you joy. Feel the sensations of your body moving freely and effortlessly. Hear the sounds of laughter and music that filled your days. And most importantly, feel the emotions of joy, excitement, and freedom that were so abundant in that time of your life.
So it's like creating a virtual reality experience of youthfulness in our minds.
That's a great way to put it. And the book suggests that the more vividly we can create that experience in our minds, the more effectively we'll be able to reprogram our subconscious minds to embrace a more youthful reality.
I love that it's about tapping into the energy and vitality that we already possess within ourselves.
That's the key. The book reminds us that youthfulness is not just about our physical bodies. It's about our state of mind, our attitude, our outlook on life.
Okay, I'm definitely going to give this a try. But what about those times when I feel my age? You know, when my body aches and my energy is low.
The book acknowledges that there will be times when we feel the effects of aging, but it encourages us to view those moments as temporary and to focus on the overall feeling of youthfulness and vitality that we're cultivating within ourselves.
So it's about not getting discouraged by those temporary setbacks. We need to trust that the reprogramming process is working, even if we don't see immediate results.
Exactly. It's about remembering that the reprogramming process takes time and consistency. It's like training for a marathon. There will be days when you feel tired and sore, but you don't give up on your goal. You keep going, trusting that with each step, you're getting closer to the finish line.
I love that analogy. Okay, I'm feeling empowered, but there's one last thing. I'm wondering about the book. It talks about attracting an ideal partner. Can we use the power of the subconscious mind to improve our existing relationships?
That's a great question, and the book addresses it directly. It argues that the same principles that apply to attracting an ideal partner can also be applied to enhancing our existing relationships.
So it's about consciously choosing the thoughts and beliefs we hold about our partner. If we're harboring negative beliefs or resentment, those thoughts and feelings might be creating a negative dynamic in the relationship.
Exactly. The book suggests that we often project our own subconscious beliefs and expectations onto our partners.
So if we're carrying around baggage from past relationships, or if we have limiting beliefs about love and commitment, those beliefs might be sabotaging our current relationship.
That's the idea. The book encourages us to examine our own subconscious beliefs about love, partnership, and commitment, and to make sure that those beliefs are aligned with the kind of relationship we want to experience.
So it's about doing our own inner work first. We need to clear out the cobwebs in our own minds before we can expect to have a healthy and fulfilling relationship.
Exactly. The book suggests that when we change our inner world, our outer world will reflect those changes.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if our partner is the one who needs to change?
The book cautions against trying to change our partners. It argues that focusing on changing someone else is a recipe for resentment and frustration.
So what do we do if we're unhappy with our partner's behavior? Do we just grin and bear it?
The book suggests that the most effective approach is to focus on changing ourselves.
But how will changing myself change my partner?
The book argues that when we change our own thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, our partners will often respond in kind.
So it's like a ripple effect. Our positive changes can create a positive shift in the dynamic of the relationship.
Exactly. When we shift our own energy, it can create a positive shift in the energy of the relationship.
Okay, I'm willing to try that. But what if my partner is resistant to change? What if they're unwilling to do their own inner work?
The book acknowledges that not all relationships are salvageable sometimes. Despite our best efforts, it becomes clear that it's time to move on.
So it's about knowing when to hold on and when to let go, and trusting that the universe has a plan for us even when we can't see it.
Exactly. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do for ourselves and for our partners is to let go.
Okay, this has been an incredible deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned so much about the power of the subconscious mind and how we can use it to create positive change in our lives.
It's truly fascinating stuff, and it's empowering to realize that we have more control over our reality than we often believe.
Exactly. But there's one thing I'm still curious about. So the book mentions that we can even use the power of the subconscious mind to influence events in the world around us. Is that really possible? Are we talking about changing the world?
That's one of the most intriguing and perhaps controversial claims the book makes.
So we're not just talking about personal transformation, we're talking about creating global change.
That's the bold suggestion the book puts forward. It argues that when enough people align their subconscious minds with a common goal, they can create a powerful force for change in the world.
So it's like a collective consciousness.
Exactly. The book suggests that our subconscious minds are all interconnected, and that when we tap into that collective consciousness, we can create a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves.
Okay, that's a pretty big claim, but is there any evidence to support it?
The book doesn't delve deeply into the scientific evidence, but it does offer anecdotal examples of how groups of people have used prayer and visualization to bring about positive changes in the world.
Like, give me an example.
Well, the book mentions the power of prayer circles and how groups of people coming together with a shared intention can create a powerful energy field that can influence events.
So it's like a collective manifestation, a group of people coming together to visualize and pray for a specific outcome, and their combined energy helps to bring it into reality.
That's one way to look at it. The book suggests that when we unite our minds with a common purpose, we tap into a power that is greater than the sum of its parts.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be possible.
Hmm.
But what about all the negativity and conflict in the world? It seems like the forces of darkness are pretty strong these days.
The book acknowledges the challenges we face in the world today, but it also reminds us that we each have the power to choose love over fear, peace over violence, and unity over division.
So it's about making conscious choices that align with the world we want to create. Instead of getting caught up in the negativity, we can choose to focus our energy on the positive changes we want to see.
Exactly. The book suggests that every time we choose a loving thought over a fearful one, a compassionate action over a hurtful one, we're contributing to a shift in the collective consciousness.
So it's about being the change we want to see in the world. It's about recognizing that we each have a role to play in creating a more peaceful and harmonious world.
That's a powerful message, and it all starts with our own thoughts and beliefs.
Okay, this is all so inspiring, but I have to admit, it's a lot to take in. It's like opening a Pandora's box of possibilities.
It is, and it's important to remember that this is just a brief overview of the concepts explored in the book.
So it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to discover and explore.
Exactly. The book delves much deeper into these concepts and offers specific techniques for applying them in your own life. It's a guidebook, a roadmap, and a source of inspiration.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check out the book. But in the meantime, what's the most important takeaway from our deep dive today? If we could only remember one thing from this conversation, what would it be?
I think the most crucial message is that we have far more power to shape our reality than we often realize, and it all starts with our thoughts and beliefs.
So we're not just victims of circumstance, we're creators of our own reality. We have the power to choose our thoughts, to heal our wounds, and to create a life that is aligned with our deepest desires.
Exactly. The book reminds us that we are powerful beings with the ability to create the lives we desire and to contribute to a better world.
That's a pretty empowering message.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired to start applying these principles in my own life. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share from the book?
There's one passage that really resonated with me. It's about the importance of living in the present moment.
Okay, mindfulness. I've heard a lot about that lately.
It is related to mindfulness, but the book takes it a step further. It argues that the present moment is the only moment we truly have power.
So not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, it's about focusing our attention on the now.
Exactly. The book suggests that when we're fully present in the now, we're able to access the infinite power of our subconscious minds and to create a reality that is aligned with our deepest desires.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we actually live in the present moment? It seems like our minds are always jumping ahead or rehashing the past. It's hard to stay focused on the now.
It can be a challenge, can't it? Our minds are like monkeys swinging from one thought to the next. But if we can learn to tame those monkeys and focus our attention on the present moment, the book suggests we'll tap into a greater sense of peace and power.
Exactly. The book offers various techniques for cultivating present moment awareness, including meditation, mindful breathing, and simply paying attention to the sensations of our bodies and the world around us.
The book also emphasizes the importance of appreciating the simple things in life. A beautiful sunset, a warm cup of tea, the laughter of a loved one. It suggests that when we cultivate a sense of gratitude for the everyday blessings, we open ourselves up to a world of abundance and joy.
That's a beautiful reminder. Gratitude is a powerful force, isn't it?
Hmm.
It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, and it helps us appreciate the beauty that already surrounds us.
The book argues that gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions we can cultivate. It creates a positive feedback loop in our subconscious minds, attracting even more abundance into our lives.
Okay, I'm convinced I'm going to start a gratitude journal today, but before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share from the book?
There's one final passage that I think is worth sharing. It's about the importance of trusting the universe.
Trusting the universe, that sounds like a leap of faith, especially when things are tough and we're feeling uncertain about the future.
It can feel that way, can't it? But the book argues that the universe is inherently benevolent and that it's always working in our favor even when we can't see it.
So it's about having faith that everything is unfolding as it should, even when we're going through difficult times.
Exactly. The book suggests that when we trust in the wisdom of the universe, we open ourselves up to receiving guidance, support, and even miracles beyond our wildest dreams.
Okay, that's a comforting thought. But how do we cultivate that trust? It's easy to say, trust the universe, but it's a lot harder to actually do it when we're facing challenges and setbacks.
It is a practice, isn't it? A conscious choice to shift our perspective and to choose faith over fear. The book suggests that we can begin by noticing the ways in which the universe is already supporting us.
So looking for the silver linings, even in the midst of the storm clouds?
Exactly. Maybe it's a kind word from a stranger, a moment of unexpected joy, or a sign that you're on the right path. When we start to pay attention to these small blessings, our trust in the universe begins to grow.
I'm starting to see how all of these principles, living in the present moment, cultivating gratitude, trusting the universe, are all interconnected. They're all about shifting our perspective from fear to faith, from scarcity to abundance, from limitation to possibility.
You've hit the nail on the head. The book is essentially a guidebook for transforming our consciousness. It's about recognizing that we are not just victims of circumstance, but powerful creators of our own reality.
This has been an incredible journey. I feel like we've explored the depths of the subconscious mind and emerged with a renewed sense of hope and possibility.
It's been an honor to share this exploration with you.
And we want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive into the power of the subconscious mind. We hope you found this exploration as fascinating and empowering as we have. Remember, the power to create your reality lies within you.
And that power is limitless.
Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. To the present moment, it seems like our minds are always jumping ahead or rehashing the past.
It can be a challenge.
Yeah, it's hard to stay focused on the now.
Our minds are like monkeys, swinging from one thought to the next.
Right.
But if we can learn to tame those monkeys and focus our attention on the present moment, the book suggests we'll tap into a greater sense of peace and power.
Exactly. The book offers various techniques for cultivating present moment awareness, including meditation, mindful breathing, and simply paying attention to the sensations of our bodies and the world around us.
The book also emphasizes the importance of appreciating the simple things in life.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful sunset, a warm cup of tea, the laughter of a loved one.
Yeah.
It suggests that when we cultivate a sense of gratitude for these everyday blessings,
Right.
we open ourselves up to a world of abundance and joy.
That's a beautiful reminder. Gratitude is a powerful force, isn't it?
It is.
It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have,
Right.
and it helps us appreciate the beauty that already surrounds us.
The book argues that gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions we can cultivate. It creates a positive feedback loop in our subconscious minds, attracting even more abundance into our lives.
Okay, I'm convinced I'm going to start a gratitude journal today, but before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share from the book?
There's one final passage that I think is worth sharing.
Okay.
It's about the importance of trusting the universe.
Trusting the universe, that sounds like a leap of faith,
It can feel that way.
especially when things are tough and we're feeling uncertain about the future.
But the book argues that the universe is inherently benevolent and that it's always working in our favor even when we can't see it.
So it's about having faith that everything is unfolding as it should, even when we're going through difficult times.
Exactly. The book suggests that when we trust in the wisdom of the universe, we open ourselves up to receiving guidance, support, and even miracles beyond our wildest dreams.
Okay, that's a comforting thought.
Yeah.
But how do we cultivate that trust?
Yeah.
It's easy to say trust the universe,
Yeah.
but it's a lot harder to actually do it when we're facing challenges and setbacks.
It is a practice, a conscious choice to shift our perspective and to choose faith over fear. The book suggests that we can begin by noticing the ways in which the universe is already supporting us.
So looking for the silver linings even in the midst of the storm clouds.
Exactly. Maybe it's a kind word from a stranger, a moment of unexpected joy, or a sign that you're on the right path. When we start to pay attention to these small blessings, our trust in the universe begins to grow.
I'm starting to see how all of these principles, living in the present moment, cultivating gratitude, trusting the universe, are all interconnected. They're all about shifting our perspective from fear to faith, from scarcity to abundance, from limitation to possibility.
You've hit the nail on the head. The book is essentially a guidebook for transforming our consciousness.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we are not just victims of circumstance, but powerful creators of our own reality.
This has been an incredible journey. I feel like we've explored the depths of the subconscious mind and emerged with a renewed sense of hope and possibility.
It has. It's been an honor to share this exploration with you.
And we want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive into the power of the subconscious mind. We hope you found this exploration as fascinating and